But I also don't want to mislead you. I want you to understand something, because maybe you're in this room and things have been so difficult and you're thinking, you know what, maybe if I get back to church, maybe if I fix my relationship with God, some of those other things will be changed. And maybe if I get back with God, then maybe I'll get a job, or maybe this relationship will come together. Maybe my child will love me. And I don't want to mislead you. I want to tell you right off the bat, that may not happen. And it may get worse. Because that's not the message of this book. God doesn't promise that, well, if you stay close to me, then I'll get you a job, and I'll get you your home back, I'll get you your health back, I'll get you that relationship back. In fact, he says, you follow me, it may get worse in those ways. The message of this book is not that God will come into your life and fix the things that you don't like. The message of this book is that he'll give you something greater than all of those things. And it's a relationship with him. The message of this book is when you fall in love with your Creator, all those other things seem to be less and less and less important. The message of this book is that song we sang where we said, I found a love that's greater than life itself. That somehow when I focus on my relationship with him, all those other things, the circumstances don't change. And some of it, you can relate to some of this. It's kind of like, just even in an earthly, physical sense. You ever have one of those times in your life when you fall in love with someone? Remember that first time when you just absolutely fell in love, and that person didn't change your circumstances. That person didn't fix a lot of other things. It's just that at that point, you were so madly in love that all that other stuff didn't really matter anymore. You know what I mean? It's like I remember when I first fell in love with my wife. I mean, I'm still in love with her, I'm still crazy about her, but, it's just different. And it's like a deeper, you know what I mean. Okay, but that first initial infatuation, I just remember it was a time in my life when I was at this church that was falling apart. I mean, people were fighting, calling each other names. I mean, it was ugly, ugly, ugly. I remember I had just, it was for only time in my life I had a nice car, and I ran into a pole, and by myself in a parking lot, and but nothing really mattered because I was in love with Lisa, She didn't fix the dent in my car. She didn't put the church back together. She just made everything else seem like, I don't care. I don't care. She's still going out with me. It's just one of those crazy, I'm just madly in love. Well, you multiply that by 1,000,000, and God's saying, that's what you can find in me. A love relationship where you just love me. And you see me, and suddenly those other things don't matter so much. And you can actually come into a room when everything else in life is falling apart and rejoice and say, you know what, I found a love that's greater than life itself. And he might not fix this, he might not fix that. It may get worse, but it doesn't matter because I found this God. See, it's interesting because we're studying the Apostle Paul in his writing in Philippians chapter 1, and if you remember, the Apostle Paul, his life was actually going pretty well until he followed Jesus.